State Representative Justin Humphrey. He trusts the judgment of the president, but admits he's worried for his son, who is going through Army boot camp, and what could come after the attack.
He warned them. He's warned them quite a bit. He is trying to break up regimes. I think sometimes you have to show strength to prevent other problems, and I think what he's doing right here is showing that he will carry out strikes, that he is not bluff, and that I should think he's showing strength. I hope that sends a great message. I'm not worried about Iran. What I'm worried about is who would team up with Iran. Does this start something much, much bigger than just Iran? And so, again, we're going to have to wait for a couple of days to see, or weeks to the coming days to see whether this unites others, whether people come to join, Iran.
Those demonstrators were out yesterday calling for peace in the Middle East and rallying against a U.S. war with Iran. We spoke to a protester just after those strikes were announced. Take a listen.
What the United States has done is attack Iranian sovereignty and has basically said that they are starting war with Iran, trying to recklessly start a regional war within the area to continue destabilizing the region. We're out here today to stay hands off of Iran. We don't agree, and we demand for the United States to fully pull out of its imperialist agenda of Iran.
But there are fears this could spark a broader regional war, and some lawmakers are questioning the president's authority to order the strikes.
The only entity that can take this country to war is the U.S. Congress.
Senator Lindsey Graham praising the strike as necessary. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calling it reckless and escalatory. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said it's grounds for impeachment. And Bernie Sanders, speaking in Oklahoma, said this was unconstitutional. Officials worry retaliation could target U.S. troops or energy infrastructure, raising the specter of high gas prices around the world. We can tell you this morning, Iran's supreme leader is reportedly in hiding out of fears of an assassination attempt. This morning, Pete Hegseth said that the Trump administration complied with the notification requirements of the War Powers Act. And according to reports, Republican members of Congress did receive that notification of the attacks immediately after the planes were sent out.
This is a statement from Donald Trump, quote, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran," etc. I agree. And I want to tell you something. Not only is this news that I've just heard, the second alarming that all of you have just heard, but it is so grossly unconstitutional. All of you know that the only entity that can take this country to war is the U.S. Congress. The president does not have the right . I was talking a moment ago about the fact that we are living in one of the most difficult moments in the modern history of this country, and Trump just made it that much more difficult. That's just another burden we're going to have to carry, and that's just another message we're going to have to get out all over this country. The American people do not want more war, more death. It might be a good idea if we concentrated on the problems that exist in Oklahoma and Vermont rather than getting involved in another war that the American people do not want. Let me just say this, that in the midst of all of what is going on, what is enormously important is that we do not give up on a vision of where this country must go.
They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons. Why would you bury things in a mountain 300 feet under the ground?
Right.
Why would you bury why do they have 60% enriched uranium? You don't need 60% enriched uranium. The only countries in the world that have uranium at 60% are countries that have nuclear weapons. Because they can quickly make it 90. They have all the elements. They have. Why do they have a space program? Is Iran going to go to the moon? No. They're trying to build an ICBM.
No, but
so
that's
they
a
can one day
question.
put a
That's a
warhead
question.
on it.
That's a question of intent. And you know, in the intelligence assessment, that it was that Iran wanted to be a threshold
How do
state
you know
and
what the
use this
intelligence
leverage.
assessment says?
I'm
How do
talking
you
about
know what
the
the
public
intelligence assessment
March
says?
assessment, and that's why I was asking you if you know something more from
but
March.
that's also
if
an
an
inaccurate
order was
representation of it. That's an accurate representation of it. That's not how intelligence is read. That's not how intelligence is used. Here's what the whole world knows. Now, forget about intelligence. What the IAEA knows. They are enriching uranium well beyond anything you need for a civil nuclear program.
We bombed Iran.
Yeah.
That's an act of war. We bombed Iran. That is so insane.
As many were just finding out about the strikes, reactions outside the White House were understandably mixed. Some strongly support the decision.
It was not surprising. We expect that gonna happen, but we didn't expect the time. And 100%, yeah, we support Mr. Donald Trump for what happened yesterday.
For others, it's worry. Lorenz Spacher is from Germany.
I'm here for work exchange.
He had heard the situation was escalating.
I didn't knew that they started bombing them. I heard they are preparing some stuff.
But waking up to learn of the strikes, he fears a bigger, more global conflict.
And I see more and more countries in war than in peace. Probably that concerns me quite a lot because I'm 21 right now. I have a full lifespan ahead, and I know that there is a whole generation who's probably concerned.
And now the question is, how will Congress respond?
It's not the United States doing the strikes, because the United States, if we were going to declare war on Iran, we do it through the process we have in place, which be congressional approval.
A warning that this is a dangerous escalation. He said so in a tweet. This is a dangerous escalation in a region already on the edge and a direct threat, he says, to international peace and security. There's a growing risk that this conflict could rapidly get out of control with catastrophic consequences for civilians, the region, and the world.
From the Senate, U.S. Senator James Lankford echoing this message, emphasizing his support for the U.S. military. A member of U.S. Senate's Select Committee on Intelligence, the attack on Iran comes 1 month after Lankford traveled to meet with Middle East leaders in Iraq, Lebanon, Jordan, and Israel. U.S. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen claims the attack ends a, quote, forever war, saying in part the president was clear Iran must never have a nuclear weapon. The Republican-led Senate GOP trusts President Trump to keep America safe, free, and prosperous. On the House side, I also had the chance to speak with Oklahoma State Representative Justin Humphrey. He trusts the judgment of the president, but admits he's worried for his son, who is going through Army boot camp, and what could come after the attack.
We also spoke to an Iranian American in Little Tehran near Westwood. She said she and her family are in support of a regime change in Iran.
Iran is a threat to Middle Eastern countries, and I'm very happy about this, what happened. And if President Trump is going to stop making Iran from making nuclear and atomic bomb, this should 100% happen.
And And local officials reacting as well. Mayor Karen Bass posting on X saying, quote, following the bombings in Iran, Los Angeles is closely monitoring for any threats to public safety. There are no known credible threats at this time, and out of an abundance of caution, LAPD is stepping up patrols near places of worship, community gathering spaces, and other sensitive sites.
We've long had concerns about the Iranian nuclear program and been very clear that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The US has now taken action to alleviate that threat. It is important that we now de-escalate the situation.
French President Emmanuel Macron with a similar stance. He wrote in part on X, quote, following the overnight strikes, I called for de-escalation and for Iran to exercise the greatest restraint in this dangerous context to allow a return to diplomatic channels, dialogue, a clear commitment from Iran to renounce its nuclear weapons or the risk of the worst for the entire region. This is the only path that leads to peace and security for all.